video of the day today. The thing we're going to discuss today is utilizing the foam roller for a self-myofascial release. Those of you who aren't aware of what self-myofascial release is, or SMR, all that basically is a way for us to break up our soft tissue, our adhesions, our areas of immobility, to help lengthen that tissue and make it overall healthier for our movement patterns or our functional movement patterns. These you can get at stores, you can order online. This is actually an elite roller, so the density is a little bit thicker than you normally would see. You could use this one at like an Olympia Sports or a Walmart. You can use a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball at some points. And just want to make a quick note, the contraindications to this would be, somebody who's suffering from, a condition such as fibromyalgia, acute injury, and using it more in like bony prominences. This really isn't for that. This is, like I said, more for muscle tissue or some fascia. Going to go through a quick series of exercises. Just going to work on mostly what we call rolling out the area and or using a pressure wave. So just kind of up and down the muscle, looking for areas of softness. So we're actually going to start with the foot today. Now the foot, what I typically would do is use like a lacrosse ball or tennis roller, but you can actually take your shoe off and you can work right in. So you're going to dig basically right in here, put some pressure through that medial arch, just work on your plantar fascia. Alright, give it a nice pressure, looking for those soft areas, just trying to break up that tissue. Now eventually with all these exercises, what you'd want to do is you'd want to get into an area where you feel a little bit of discomfort. Hold for about 20 or 30 seconds to start to relieve that irritation, and then we'll do something we call flossing, so you actively kind of contract the muscle group. So now you see I'm moving my toes, so I'm kind of flossing the area to help break up that adhesion and that tissue a little bit more. The second area we're going to work on is going to be my Achilles tendon. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down, the roller's going to go right on one or both of my Achilles tendons depending upon what I feel like, and I'm going to lift my butt up off the ground. And now I'm going to roll just on that lower part of the ankle, right on the Achilles itself. Again, looking for those areas that are a little bit soft or sore. Then eventually I'm going to kind of hold an area a little bit, apply a little pressure, and we're working that same flossing technique. Alright, just trying to break up that irritation. From here, we're going to move on and up the body. Now we're going to go to our gastrocnemius and our soleus complex. So again, I'm going to take my body weight off. Now I'm going to roll those calf muscles. You notice I'm going to roll it medial, so internally rotate my legs a little bit, the middle of that muscle belly, and just slightly outside, not too much, looking for those soft areas. Again, I find a soft area in one part, I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure, hold for 20 or 30 seconds, and then use that flossing technique. And then switch sides, indicate those areas when a little bit sore, and same thing, use that flossing technique. From here, I'm going to rotate a little bit. I'm going to get the muscles on the outside of my ankle, the peroneal muscles. Alright, rolling up and down, right in the outside, go all the way down towards that ankle joint, and right up the side of that muscle belly. When I find those soft areas here, I can give that little bit of pressure, and now I'm going to do a little bit more of that in and out motion of my ankle, or even more of a circular motion on those sore spots. The next exercise is for the tibialis anterior, so getting a little bit of the front of the shin. For this, you might be a little too tender, so I'd even encourage using some rolling with the hands as you come up and down. But if you're not finding that's enough pressure, you can roll over, slide that down, and now get in front of that shin. Up and down, find those soft areas, and working that flossing with the ankle, just coming up and down. From here, I'm going to go right into my quadriceps, so my thigh muscles. I'm going to slide the roller over, right down the top of my knee. What I like to do is keep that offset leg here to kind of take some body pressure off. Then I'm going to roll all the way to the hip, down right above my kneecap. A little bit in, a little bit in the middle of that muscle belly, and just slightly outside that vastus lateralis. Same thing, we'll find those soft spots, and when I find them, give a little bit of pressure for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then working that flossing just by flexing that leg up and down. From here you can transition into what we do is the inner thigh or the adductor group. So, I'm going to line this up a little bit with my hip. And I'm going to slide my leg over. You notice I'm going to roll right up to the groin and back down. To get a little more pressure, I'm just going to extend that leg a little bit and roll right in and right out. When I find those areas, I can work a little flexion extension to get that flossing action once again. Now I'm going to transfer to the outside of my leg. Come come down, I'm going to work on that IT band or the iliotibial band. It's about 3/4 of the way up from that femur, the upper leg, and right down to the knee joint itself. Rolling and finding those soft spots. I'm going to floss here, and get a little extension and flexion. Now I'm going to move the roller up, so I'm a little bit higher up in the hip. Now that I'm higher up in the hip, I'm getting right into my glute area and my TFL and my tensor fasciae latae. Same thing here. Find that soft spot. And now instead of using the knee flexion extension, I'm going to work the hip a little bit. All right, you can get a little rotation with that component, just to get that flossing technique. Now I'm going to transfer to my glute muscles, so your butt muscles. I'm going to sit right in and get that dig right through that butt muscle. When I find that little adhesion on that soft area, I'm going to give a little more of a hip flexion extension to get that floss. The next area to move on to from here is my piriformis. With my piriformis, I'm going to cross the leg I want to get that action with and dig right into the side of the hip. So you notice I'm going to tilt my hips a little bit, rotate that foot on top of my knee, and find those soft areas. You won't have much room to do any flossing here, so maybe a little bit of movement in the knee, but there's a lot of soft areas here. I'll move up to my upper body next. I'm working getting my latissimus dorsi muscle. So for here, it's going to be a side lying. Lats are going to go right down, right near my rib cage, right up to the bottom of my armpit. So I'm going to be here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to roll right down, find those soft irritation areas. Good. From this position, I can go right into the tricep, the back of my arm. So I'm going to lay down a little bit more. Be right here. I'm going to roll that body right through my tricep. Find those soft areas, and from here I can give a little bit of flossing with that elbow flexion and extension. Now the hard part is starting to get areas more on your chest or your pec group. For this, you can actually use what we use is a little bit of a lacrosse ball or tennis ball. I would place the ball onto my chest, which sounds really unique. And then I would get down into the turf while I have that ball here, and I'd give that light pressure as I roll in that tennis ball or lacrosse ball. Those are very sensitive areas, so I would probably try maybe a self-massage first, even using a rolling pin at home or some self-massage, and then break down to some self-rolling with a tennis ball, and then go down to when you're putting that pressure on the floor. I can get my back a little bit in these areas as well by using the roller, just by simply lying on it with my spine and shifting a little bit over to one side and giving a little hug with the body. And if you notice with this, I'm just rolling kind of back and forth on those rhomboid muscle tissues to dig right in. And I can even center a little bit of my low back. To really get the low back muscles, those extensors, I'm actually going to take about 2 or 3 inches of this foam roller and start off my right side. I'm going to shift my body weight, just the right side of my spine, and then I'm going to roll right up and right down, right here, that low back on one side. Find those areas, give them a few seconds to break up a little bit, and keep rolling. Then all I simply do is just switch sides to the opposite part of my spine. The last thing you can do with the roller, besides that self-myofascial release, is do a little bit of mobility exercises with your spine. Sometimes we use this just to open up ranges of motion through that thoracic spine that might be a little bit tight. So I'm going to come down and lift my butt up in the air a little bit, interlock my hands behind my head, and just set right on the vertebrae and get that slight crunch up. And right back down. I'm going to move to the next vertebrae, slight crunch up, and slight crunch down. All I'm doing here is basically when I crunch up, it's actually forcing my body weight into the roller, which then helps move my vertebrae up, giving me a little bit of a glide to free up that area. You may even feel some kind of pops, almost like you're being manipulated at a chiropractor, but we're not looking at that huge movement. It's more than just that general motion to help lubricate that joint and open it up. I know this is a lot of information to take in a few minutes. Please, if you guys have questions, give us a call. It's 601-7761. Email us at apcenter@ehr.org. And obviously, we hope to see you here at some point.